should have been a doctor. From the outside noise, I stay isolated. Mine, I'm a grind, most hated. I keep my thoughts refrigerated. You could get pressed, folded, and painted. Offshore accounts, fam situated. Generational wealth can't be affiliated with bottom feeders. I'm a hip-hop lifer. Niggas acting shy still with small paper. Imagine what's gonna happen when we pull off the caper. I see you in the green room, succumb to the dusty. Getting gloom, ego get popped like a Chinese balloon. Okay, corral, high noon, done. Pussy boy gonna talk too soon. We never have the skills to blaze the room. The DJ never wanna play the truth till they hear aliens they play on the moon. This, that, or that, you know. Nobody move or everybody get hurt, you know. This, that, or that, you know. You won't have a close relationship with dirt, you know. This, that, or that, you know. Nobody move or everybody get hurt, you know. This, that, or that, you know. You won't have a close relationship with dirt, you know. This world is getting...
Yeah. From a general. I do what I gotta do. I take my chances, that's what I was gonna do. Cause before me, certainly, not for you. Everything on this earth is gonna be getting this kind of vibe. Cause me, something but it's to me, sitting with me. Don't work on it, they go away, that they really excuse to take no. Oh no. Got to find another job. Don't tell me.
But where you gonna throw it on that?
What do some of them going up on the prices so people get on a border? They got the job that they work and already joking with a reward. If you got the promise, just be thought if you get it said. Don't get me started with it. Always acting like, yeah, you meant to break the law. I made a wrong turn. I made a new.
Something, my boss.
Respect every time.
Respect. You're live.
Cool.
You gotta wait long. I'm not sure letting show run. Where will you get?
It is 7 o'clock in Belize City. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Wednesday podcast. I am G. Michael Reed in Belize City. We come on the auspices of the CY studio up there in New York City. The one and only Clinton Young, CY himself at the controls. We usually have Gregory Morrison from Los Angeles. I believe he's going to be out this evening. Sometimes Joe Cowie pops in, and sometimes we have the ladies, Deidre Gillett, and of course, Lisa Castanedas, who is under the weather. So we ask your prayers for Lisa, who is not feeling well. She had a procedure last week, which did not turn out too well, had some complications. And though she's resting, coming around and should be back with us sooner than later. Number of things on the plate tonight. We're expecting a special guest, our friend from Miami, Ray Gongora Jr., not to be confused with Ray Footy Gongora. This Ray Gongora is MBE and Master of the Arts. He's really been in the arts arena for many, many years. I was speaking to Dickie Bradley today, and he was telling me that he remembers Ray as an actor, and good to see him branching out into playwright. He has written a number of plays. I saw one last year at the Bliss. This one, I had the privilege of looking at a few clips, if you will, and it's very, very interesting. I'll urge you, when you get a chance, when it visits your city, or if you're in Belize when it opens at the Bliss, which I believe is sometime in September, he'll fill us in on the details. But trust me, it is a very interesting show that's going to touch on a number of topics that have been taboo. Uh, I am really looking forward to the reviews, to the comments that will come as a consequence of this. In Belize City, of course, we're on the eve of Emancipation Day, which is tomorrow, August the 1st, which is when in 1838, I believe it was, we finally became free. The document, the bill was passed in 1834, but because of the fact that many of the slaves had to serve an additional 5 years as payment back to their master, we saw the situation in Haiti, where the slaves are still paying back today. I think they recently, Haiti finally cleared off the bill late in the last century, but for years they had to pay reparations to the slave masters because they lost their property, which was slaves, which they had no right to begin with. The one egregious situation, which brings us to the point of Palestine, because Nelson Mandela made a statement at the end of their apartheid when he said, "We will never be free until Palestine is also free." So the situation there persists, the apartheid state. We are hoping that these people are not allowed to go back to that business as usual, but Palestine becomes a free country, at least a two-state nation where the Palestinian people have a right to govern themselves, to live freely, to build their own nation, as opposed to live under the foot and the heel of these very ignoble fake people. I'm saying that because Israel is not a state. It might be a state of mind. Israel is a people of God. Anybody that serves God is a member of Israel. They're Israelites. These are Israelis that we're talking about. There's no small coincidence that they're not called Israelites, because they're not Israelites. In fact, I was reading a study where a DNA test was taken on the people there, and 97% have no trace of Hebrew in them. This was something a state. I also read a report where over 500,000 have left Israel, so-called Israel, and gone back to their original countries because of the problems faced in that nation. That one sad situation, and they will not live in peace until they let others live in peace. The world is watching. The world cannot be silent. The world will not be silent. We cannot stop. We have to keep crying out for justice, because injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. We have heard that a number of times before. I was watching the news this evening. Apparently, the UDP in turmoil again, as they have been over the past, I don't know, couple of years or so. But the fight between Patrick Faber and the leader of the opposition, current leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow. Folks, let me go on a limb here. I believe that Patrick Faber would be a better leader for the UDP. I can go on more about that, but let me see it this, that it's a bad state for our democracy that we don't have a vibrant opposition. Belize needs a vibrant opposition to keep the government in check. We cannot trust these people to just do the right thing without the fear being exposed if they go off that path. And as we all know, man is prone to do that. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. We must demand an opposition party. We have to have a viable one in place that will not only oppose to oppose sake, because many times they do that and always in attack mode. They need to be in defense mode, where we are looking out for the interests of the people. We are keeping the elected officials in check, and we are ensuring that justice is served at every level. The people have to be the priority at every call. We are faced in Belize now with a state of emergency. That is where they target people who they believe are responsible for the crimes that are being committed, put them in jail for 30 days, and now they have signed an extension where they can keep them there for 90 days. I do not believe that the police just pick people up at random. I've been listening to Dickie, who is dead set against it. I don't know that he has thought this through, but he might argue that he has. But his main concern is about a 13-year-old child that was placed in protective custody and taken off the street because he was shot about a year ago, and he was reportedly chasing a person down the street after that with a firearm. Again, I don't believe that the police are picking people up just at random because they have files, they have reports. The police now are not incapable of doing their own wrongs. Um, we have to also keep them accountable. We need a citizens group, and I've been talking with a couple of people. We need to form ad hoc committees. That is people without any interest, without any axe to grind, without political affiliation. Difficult to find because we have our preference one way or the other. But we need people to keep the government in check, even with the opposition there, because the opposition, even strong and vibrant, we can't trust them all the time because they are going to present their side of the story. Oftentimes, as we all know, there are three sides: my side, your side, and the truth. So we need to search diligently and hope to come within at least shouting distance of the truth. Now, the Emancipation Day celebration is going to be held in both places. I hear it advertised as from one time at Yabra Green to the other time at the Isaiah Morta Square, which, for those of you familiar with Belize, is at the end of Albert Street going into Yabra, right where it turns into the Yabra Cemetery. My concern, people, is that they are having the opening ceremonies at Government House. Now, if this is not really right against the grain of what we're trying to highlight here, we're going right back to the colonial master for his approval. Is that what this is? Given that there is no governor there again as such, and the government seat is in Belmopan, but this is a relic of a past that we are trying to distance ourselves from. Emancipation is a freedom from the very thing that we're clinging on to. We need to discard it and move on. Like a child moving out of my house, but go there every day for 3 meals. You haven't moved, you haven't gone anywhere, you're still there. I think that the ceremony should have been at the St. John's Cathedral, the opening ceremony, which has a rich history of its own. But Government House, no, emancipation was issued from, it wasn't in Belize. All former colonies of Britain celebrated the Emancipation Day. It started in Canada. We didn't start celebrating until September 20, until 2021, actually. 2021, we started. It's only been 3 or 4 years we've had this as a holiday. And in fact, for 2 of those years, we were in COVID, so there was not much happening anyway. So I do not think that DJ, you'd have to give me some more evidence as to that. The maybe at the time the governor signed it into law for Belize, but Belize had a unique set of circumstances, and we were not in the same boat, so to speak, as say people in the United States who were subjected to the real cruel slavery. Our people, yeah, we were slave and we worked hard and whatnot, but somebody was suggesting that because we had to carry tools, axes and machete and whatnot, the master was smart enough to be a little kinder to us, though they were still very vicious, even especially in the early days. Thomas Paslow, whose name a main building in the square of Belize carried for many years, was known to be a cruel slave master. The interesting thing is that he, Thomas Paslow, was one of the people who fought and voted yes to fight instead of flight. He voted on June the 1st, which I personally believe is the day more relevant to us that should celebrate. Let me welcome our guest this evening. Good to see you, Brother Ray Gongora. How are you, sir?
Hey,
All right.
good.
Wonderful. I was holding over here for a while and touching on a few issues before you came in. And
Uh-huh.
forward to an enlightening conversation with you about a couple of issues outside of where we're. So I hope you don't mind.
Go
Our
ahead.
good. Our big story, of course, will be the play Royal Cruffy, which
Yes,
is
yes.
Belize and what date again?
September 12th and 13th at the Bliss Institute in Belize.
All right, folks, get ready for this because I'm telling you, it's an eye opener. It would you call it a comedy, Ray? Was that what you set out for, or it was just to present something on the stage that would make people think?
Think.
Because it made me think. I tell you what, it brought back a lot of
Thought-provoking.
yeah.
Thought-provoking.
And you know what I was talking about? Days of slavery and early days of Belize. As you know, Emancipation Day is tomorrow.
Right.
Whether we have been really emancipated or not, or whether how long after that it really took for people to recognize true freedom is another question. But there are lots of things from our early childhood, some things hitherto taboo, but you seem to have dipped head first into this water here, man, and made a splash with this. And we're not going to give away too much because people need to come and see the show.
Right.
Tell me a bit about Ray before we go on. How would you, looking at Ray from outside, what is Ray Gongora about?
I love people. I love what people do. I try to support as much as possible things Belizean. I'm a theater person. I love the theater. I love Belizean theater.
Obviously, yeah.
Um, all, all the years of my life, I've been involved with Belizean theater. I love talk Creole, even though I talk English sometimes right now. But I love it. You know, it's a part of me. Um, I did a lot of theater in Belize in the 70s, 80s, and then moved to the US, and I did some theater in the early 80s. The 90s started to do more, and the 20s did a lot more. And then back to Belize the past 2, 3 years. This is our third year coming back to Belize with a Belizean theater production.
You live in the States now, of course.
Right, right.
What's the what does the future look like? Are you gonna move back to Belize? Are you gonna work from
No,
there?
I'm not.
No?
I'm not moving. I'm not one of the Belams coming back home. I not to live. I am making more regular trips, at least 2 to 3 times a year since I'm now retired. You know, but yes, I make more trips now, and
Mm.
they are with a purpose. With a
Well,
purpose.
you'll get caught, because Belize has a strong magnet that will pull you right in. Um, but certainly you've not let go of Belize. You have kept Belize in your heart, and it seems like everything you do has Belize as a focal point.
True,
Would that be
true.
correct?
That is very correct.
Yeah,
Very correct.
you're a part of the diaspora. How do
Mhm.
you see that movement there? You see a coming together, because I know for the most part they've been more splintered than the UDP.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the splinters with the UDP.
Uh-huh.
Kind of far removed from that, but the diaspora it takes a different perspective or avenue now. The way I see it, in the past, you had all these Belize associations, so
Mhm.
many Belize associations, and these associations were all representative of the people. Today, you have a lot of individuals now, and these individuals are all promoters of
Right.
things Belizean, but they are promoters, and it is now like a job for them. Whereas associations used to do events with a purpose in Belize, these promoters are doing events with a purpose of survival.
Interesting. I was honored to be at a couple of Belize days in a couple of cities in the U.S. Are those still popular?
It's popular, very popular, and I think even becoming more popular now because it started out with New York,
Yeah.
and then now it's Chicago, and Chicago has really picked up some popularity, and then I think it's happening in LA again. It used to in the past, and it's happening again in LA. Yeah, I think that's where that's what with the Belize Park Fest or Day in the Park.
Where are you in the U.S.?
I am in Miami,
Is
Florida.
there a big Belizean community there?
There is a big community here in South Florida, Central Florida, and North Florida.
Don't you
Yes,
do a carnival of sorts from time to time?
that is correct. There's the Caribbean, the Miami Broward Carnival, and the Belize associations are actively involved with that. They do they do participate in the carnival and have Belize events, from a market day to dance, and it's very popular. You have people from all over the U.S. coming, and from Belize, to be a part of that, the carnival, and it's in October.
Okay, and that's the one in Miami.
That is correct.
All right.
That is correct.
Do you have any thoughts on involvement of the diaspora in politics in Belize? Have you looked at that as to whether it would be, I don't know, wise or unwise, helpful or unhelpful?
Wait, I don't understand your
The
question.
the diaspora. Some people in the diaspora have suggested that maybe they should be allowed to be involved in politics in Belize, running for office. I was wondering if
Mhm.
you had any thoughts about that.
Oh, okay. My personal thoughts. Look, man. Unfortunately or fortunately, G Mike, I raised my hand and I took an oath. And uh, as a result, I have given up a part of Belize. To demand from the Belizeans to uh, vote for me to represent them in Belize, I think it's not fair.
You know, you, I don't know if you've been listening to this show enough, and that has been my point of contention from the very start. That what does say that I entirely renounce any allegiance. So the right that they are fighting for, they have renounced. I am saying if you want to renounce that renouncement, by all
Mhm.
means, you're a
Yes,
believer and you're bande or bande,
yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
I have even suggested, and I hear a few people picking up on it, that maybe if the diaspora could unite and come together, then maybe they could select a representative of the diaspora that could sit in the Senate and handle diaspora affairs and look out for people in the diaspora, because we know one of the problems is that many face problems in Belize when they
Hmm.
come and try to do business or build and whatnot. They buy land and they get scammed and whatnot.
Right.
um, I have been making the point also, however, that they're not a diaspora thing, they're one Belizean thing, because many of our people here are incompetent, lazy, and don't give a damn. So what this we here in Belize face the same issues. So
Hmm.
I think that, and that the one part that we ought to take. Um, you had no political affiliation with PUP or UDP, and what would be, which was your preference as far as parties go?
As far as parties go, that is one of the things, Mike, a comment or a part of Royal Coffee that we had to cut out because of time. And it was the respect that the father of the nation had for going back to the land in Belize, where he gave land to the people to go back and cultivate. And as a people, because of our history and our past, the cultural habits, it's not that we were lazy, but that was labor, that was slave labor to go back to the land. As a result, we aspired to positions within the civil service as a, and I can talk about this because it's not in the play, but it's a part of the script.
Yeah, it would have been in if you had time to put it in there. That's what you're
That
saying.
is correct,
Yeah.
and
Well, it
it
might be for another
shows
play. I certainly sound like you can.
it shows the cycle, Mike, that is going on. That as a people, we ran away from home because we didn't want to go to the land. and then we came out here and we took the menial jobs.
Yeah.
And what is happening is we have the Hispanics from Central America coming in and doing the job that we didn't want to do.
The Mennonites came in and did the same thing, and they've grown filthy rich doing it.
That is correct.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so are the Hispanics.
Yeah,
They
they're
are growing filthy rich from it now.
yeah,
And we as Belams or diasporans turn around and scorn these people for what we turned down and what we came to America to do.
that one interesting. Boy, that one interesting line there. And yes, indeed, that's enough for the play. Actually,
Yes.
the play, and I could give this part that I saw within that one play 4 different plays, and either of them could have gone on their own and been a whole play. So I think people are going to be very well. How would I say? I don't. I don't know. Some might be ruffled. I think for the most part, though, it'll leave everybody thinking and facing. You kind of put in their face again issues that has been taboo.
Right.
There are many things that we don't want to talk about.
Right.
What you have said, there's another one, really, because when you say whether it was laziness or just feeling that being a farmer and getting your hands dirty is degrading, or is certainly not what you say, vogue, certainly not in keeping with the image that we
Going
want
back
to
to
portray.
plantation labor.
Yeah. So, and yes, George Price did when he came up with the Green Revolution.
That's
And
correct.
wake up and work.
That is correct.
And he was pushing the people, and it's as if he saw something coming. He had a foresight that, boy, I want to better take care of yourself so that you'll be able to feed yourself. Now where people are eating ramen as opposed to bile up.
Right, the green, peaceful, and constructive revolution.
Exactly. So that answers the question really on that end. Now, you have tell us about the cast, because you have some interesting people in there. Obviously, you've assembled a group of individuals, and they seem all passionate about this, as passionate maybe as you are about the art, but certainly the play. They all seem to be throwing their all into it, which is going to be good for those coming to see the play.
You are getting a level of acting and performance that is to be respected and admired. These are performers who used to perform with the Square Peg Players in the 70s and 80s, and have continued their craft voluntarily to maintain what they love. So they continue to perform, whether as individuals, at weddings, picnics, Belizean events in general. And in most cases as single performers, writing their own monologues and comedy. And we performed together some 45 years ago. Together we performed, and
this same group of people that you have here, interesting.
The same group of people,
Yeah.
And 3 years ago we did our first performance, and it was the Optimist Club 501 Belize that brought us to Belize, and continue to do it every year now as an annual fundraiser for the club. So we've been performing together, and has come together as a reunion, and hey, we have a nice piece of production coming to Belize this September.
Obviously, the chemistry is there.
Definitely,
And it
definitely.
shows the I you talk about performing for so long. I remember going to watch a play when I was young, Arsenic and Olis. Do you remember that play?
No, I don't.
Man, it was funny. It was a very the guy was popular back then. What I can't recall it. The name is right there, but I don't quite recall. But he in fact he came out of SJC and was doing some.
Orlando Taylor.
No,
No.
that's not the name I'm looking for. That's anyway, somebody might one of our listeners might remember and remind me before the show is over. But
Mhm.
theater in Belize, have you seen a growth, improvement, or a decline?
I think there's a spark now. There is
Yeah.
a spark. We've had for this year, we had Wejan Jande, we had Scam. I think Diane Haylock from the YWCA coming out with another production for August, this month, August. Um, we saw Oliver Samuels coming back to Belize, and then which they just played in July, and then we're coming in September. So I think that it's the interest, and it's getting there now. It's sparking.
We we just saw the Belize music music and food festival in San Pedro.
Uh-huh.
Apparently a big success, but there were the criticisms about bringing foreign artists in. Now you spoke of Oliver,
Mm-hmm.
certainly a Jamaican, and there's another guy, very funny. I saw him as a part of a play,
Blacker.
Black Hair.
Right, right.
Very, very funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about us bringing in the foreign entertainers? Would you encourage it, or would you say let us try to do our own thing like you're doing? I see there are no foreign entertainers such on your on ensemble, though you're all living abroad, of course, correct?
Right, right.
Well, except one of your stars, I think he said he was in Belize.
Right. Dwight Neal lives in
Yeah,
Belize,
yeah, yeah. He's
and
supposed. Was
then
he going to join us? He was supposed to.
he should be coming in. He said he's gonna be a little late,
Okay,
so
okay.
he should be joining us soon.
Uh-huh.
And then there are three ladies. They all live in New York, myself
Okay.
in Florida. So our
Uh-huh.
rehearsals are on Zoom. Uh, we challenge Zoom, and it has worked for us. Um, the having foreign performers coming to Belize, I am not sure it's the best of things that we should be doing, but that it has sparked some interest. I remember in my early days having foreigners as cameo performers. We brought in what Belinda Wright and Yelko, Eurasia, and we brought in theater personalities. And they kind of served as models for us
Mm-hmm.
because there was an active local or national theater activity. So when these people came in, we saw them as models, and continued to improve on our craft.
Well, you can learn from them, of course, because
Hmm.
they are exposed to a higher level, if you will.
Right,
Um,
right,
and while we have certainly been getting there, we started kind of late, I think. And
right. They were sponsored by the British Arts Council and the U.S. Council, which is now the embassy.
you know,
And so much of their presentation and performances were free.
hmm
Were free. You could have gone to these shows free because, as I said, they served as motivators and models for us.
Yeah. Deidre wants to know if the government should invest more in the development of the arts and these young artists, these local artists.
It's a hue and cry for us from day one. Um, the investment should start with the Bliss Institute. That's a place that it's falling apart, and if that
You,
is any semblance of the level of theater and production and the arts in Belize, I mean, look what we've done. We moved the Music and Arts Festival to San Pedro and to Marion Jones Stadium, and away from the Bliss, the Performing Arts Center.
but they certainly can't accommodate the size of crowds that they're drawing. So,
So then, when are we going to build one?
yeah, that's the question. Should we then build? Would you like to see that happen?
Definitely,
Uh,
definitely,
but
definitely.
you said that the Bliss is falling apart, but that was recently refurbished, right? Correct. Do you think they made it too small, and was it not conducive to?
It's bigger than
Type
what
of-
it was before.
yeah.
Bigger than what we were, because in our days when the Bliss was there, it seated not even 300 people. Now it seats over 600 people.
And it's certainly more comfortable than it was. I'll tell you that the chairs aren't bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, so much more comfortable. The sound system, if it's available, would be excellent the way it's wired and set up.
But why would it not be available, Ray? Are there times when it is not? Is it because of personnel, or the management is holding down on it?
Iron and teeth, all of it's
Oh my
gone.
God.
So that if you want a sound system, you have to rent one.
Oh man. So the
You
whole
have to
wired in ones that were there.
They're gone.
Oh my God.
They're similarly to the lights. There are no lights. There's no lights. There's only one bulb there. If you want lights, you have to rent them. And there are people in Belize who knows exactly what the Bliss needs and can rent them to you.
That's
They come
interesting.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, but then that to me raises a few questions. Why would you go off into that kind of business unless you knew that you're going to need that at some point? I mean, if it was there already, had the failure of security or failure of the people there, because many times those who take it are the ones who have access to it. No, so
That's right. That's
no,
right. That's right.
dismal.
I don't know the story. All I
Yeah.
know, it's gone. It's gone.
So when you guys come in, there's some added expense then on your part that you have to rent these things.
That is correct. We have to rent them.
Yeah. We have a question. Are you inclined to feature Belizean artists when you visit different states? I don't know, because if you have a play, you have a set crew, correct?
That is correct, and they're Belizeans, and
Yeah.
we have started to tour the U.S. So far, with the two plays that we've done, we've taken it to New York. New York has been very innovative and in bringing us to New York, and the Friends Supporting the Anglican Diocese of Belize. They have been our producers past 2 years and have already booked this play for this year. And there's also a promoter in Los Angeles, because you don't have any Belize associations in Los Angeles to bring us to Los Angeles. The promoter David Arana, along with Marcus Branch, a Guyanese, they brought us this year in April. They brought the play to Los Angeles. We had two sold out performances here. and are they're working on scheduling us to be in Los Angeles with the new play. I think it's going to be early next year. Central Florida, Tampa, is now on the roll on the calendar to bring us to Tampa. The same play, Royal Creole, sometimes early next year. And I think we heard that the promoters from Los Angeles are considering taking us to Chicago and probably Houston.
Well, you have a sizable community of Belizeans in both of those vicinities, so that you should not be hard to get one of those places sold out for that, no?
That is correct, and we're the only Belizean theater that is traveling, and the only Belizean it's only the only group right now that's available. Melissa Espat Castellanos is doing a good job there in Belize in trying to get, I would imagine, a group of people together to do regular theater. There's also Jankuna Productions, but they're into that import export of artists more so, and Oliver goes to Miami, to Canada, to everywhere with his play. So unless Jankuna Productions starts go back to when they were doing their own productions, it would be good to sponsor them and bring them out here.
All right, let's welcome Dwight. Dwight is one of your main actors in this, and I say main because everybody's obviously plays strong roles. But Dwight came across to me, and let me say I was privy to a preview of what was going on, so I have a little idea. But Dwight kind of filled up the screen when he came on board, and I want to say welcome Dwight to the show.
Thank you very much, G Mike. I have to apologize to the viewers and the listeners, but the electronics expert was having technical difficulties with electronics.
I hope
Finally got it sorted out.
I hope they're
Um,
not thief. They're not like how they thief the lights on place, no.
I am hoping not, because then they really have put me in a bad position.
Yeah,
But
you're in Belize, right?
yes, I'm in Belmopan.
Okay,
I
okay.
am the only member of the crew right now who lives in the country of Belize, with the exception of our stage manager slash prompter, Darlene Gentle, who lives in Belize
Mhm.
City. So, yeah, of the five of us who are together right now, been together for the last two or so years. Um, two of us, both of us are in Belize. The others are in the U.S. Four, you know, Ray? Four, three in
Right,
New York, three in New York, and one in
right,
Florida.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But thanks for having me on, G Mike. And
the pleasure is
yeah,
ours, yeah, man.
it in the beginning it was a bit of a challenging role because I had gotten away from the Belize City experience and some of the biases and some of the uh, the
Taboo topics.
well, I wouldn't call it taboo, but the things that are whispered in
Mhm.
what they call it social circles. They're more they're the things that are whispered and
Yeah,
not
yeah,
said out loud, no.
yeah. Correct, correct.
And so I went to a couple of places, Belize City, Dangriga, um, and right here in Belmopan, and walked around a little bit and started to pick it back up again, the kinds of ways how we used to, and in some instances continue to refer to each other socially and racially, and so I think it's an excellent way of bringing out some of our biases as a nation,
Yeah,
bringing them to the fore, so that we could start have a healthier discussion about what holds us together as a nation.
there'll be some discussions. I found it ingenious the way you guys wove that into the whole fabric of the play, and I think people are gonna really come away from that. Um, well, some eye openers, and maybe some are gonna say, "Well, boy, I don't know if we're ready for this," but it's gonna it's gonna hit pique the interest of many. I'll tell you that.
But my question to you then, G Mike, would be, when are we ever going to be ready for it?
Well, that's a good question indeed. Yeah,
You
if
know,
not now, when? I agree.
exactly,
I agree. I
exactly.
agree.
We have
We have to start somewhere and face it.
it's something that has been staring us in the face for
Yeah,
a while
yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
we need to start. One of the things that I had spoken about a while back now is the almost explosion of these ethnically based councils, Creole Council, Maya Council, East Indian Council, and it was almost as if we were starting to divide ourselves deliberately along ethnic lines, and I said, look,
Almost a balkanization sort of thing.
kind of situation,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and and we see very real examples of it happening in the country, particularly in the south. Um, and again, it's something that people really don't want to talk about, but it affects quite a bit of us. I had an interesting situation where I was working with some people. It may have been in the Sun Creek district, and I found out that because in Belize we all we self identify, meaning that nobody assign you to an ethnicity or so. I still don't understand why we have to go through that process, but it turned out that there was people who self-identified as certain ethnicities were a lesser percentage of the population than the people who consider themselves mixed ethnicity or mixed race. And I found that to be interesting. So my question then is, which council should they belong to?
Well,
um,
the question is would be what percentage consider themselves merely a Belizean? Because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, isn't it?
Precisely, precisely, and regardless of where you go, it's essentially that becomes the larger question, no? How
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
identify in terms of your nationality, in terms of where you come from, and ultimately, Belize has to be that place. So,
Well, the old adage applies. United we stand, divided we fall.
Divided we
before,
fall.
But,
and
and
then
yeah.
go ahead, Mike.
Now, until we can bring it all together and realize we're one country with many different ethnic groups, I was thinking even about the um, Emancipation Day celebrations, which is
Which is
tomorrow.
tomorrow, correct?
Now, Belize started celebrating Emancipation Day in 2021. Now, by 2021, the majority of Belize was Hispanic. So that's
Right.
interesting. So they don't identify with the whole emancipation thing because they weren't slaves of the white man as such. Um, I don't know if maybe the vote day that everybody can relate to. We decided on that day we took a vote. We would stand and fight as opposed to run and abandon the territory. I think that would have been a more uniting day, but that's a personal opinion. Any thoughts on that? Either you guys?
Jump in, Ray, 2 foot.
The vote day. I remember National Day.
No, in on June the 1st in
Hmm.
1797.
Right. The
This was
14.
correct. The
Right.
Flowers Bank 14,
The
and in
Flores
fact, a
Bank
big
14.
celebration is held
Right.
in Flowers Bank. I'm
Hmm.
just saying that would be a more relevant date for me. But again, everybody has their own opinion and points of view, no? And
And
some
then
people,
we walked away from the Battle of St. George's Key Day,
Well, that's another one. Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
made it a national day, and then now it's what, Carnival Day?
Uh,
You know,
uh,
I mean,
yeah,
we
yeah,
just
yeah.
we
It's more
just can't make up
associated
our
with that.
mind.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
just
Oh,
can't make up our mind. Yeah,
um,
rough.
well,
That's my thought. That's
Yeah.
my thought. We
and
have to stick to it. There needs to be a stick to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was about to say that um, I was soundly criticized one time because I come from one of the royal Creole families there, Southside Belize City. That's my origin, and um, loyal and patriotic Ada the Payment and
Mhm.
10th of September celebration and Queen of the Bay and those kinds of things, what I grew up with. And one day I had the temerity to say that I found it interesting that Hispanics would celebrate Battle of St. George's Key, when in fact, according to the history that we were taught, they lost. So what are they celebrating? And I was chased out of the room by one of my aunts. So you have these things that we celebrate that become questionable over time, to my mind.
And
Uh,
that's the thing is that the Hispanics are different from the mestizos in Belize.
With that too. Yeah. That's a
You
all
good
have
right,
to
point.
draw that
yes,
line.
but this is exactly the point, Ray. We should not be drawing any lines. We
Well,
should
But
we
it's
should
drawn. I don't think we're the ones doing it as persons, individuals as such. But that
Mhm.
line is drawn, Dwight.
well,
Uh,
Definitely,
how do we erase
definitely
it?
drawn.
all
That
right. So
might be the
so
challenge.
so
Even in
if
Even in America, it is drawn.
all right,
It
but
is drawn.
we can't live the Belize experience by doing what they do in America. We've been
That's
trying it,
right. I
and
agree with you.
we've
Okay.
seen how miserably it continues to fail when we
Yes.
try to superimpose what is happening in the United States on top of our Belizean culture. Just not work. And so I say, for me, it's difficult to take lessons and examples from what they do in the United States. It doesn't work for us. But continue with your point. Let me
Well,
hear it.
I want to make a point in what Detra is saying here, that Carnival was just introduced in the 70s to distract from the nation's patriotism. Not true. Carnival was introduced in the 70s by the Royal Crofty, who never want to recognize the Battle of St. George's Key, neither the National Day, because National Day than the PUP, St. George's Key Day than the UDP. So make we bring in
NIP. Make
Carnival
we get
and
it
make
right.
all
NIP.
our brown. That the Royal Crofty bring in Carnival. The
But
Royal
Ray,
Crofty,
that might be the same thing that she's saying though, as
the
a
Royal
distraction.
Crofty, the Royal Crofty, no, they were civil servants and students who went on to the Caribbean to get their degrees and then got introduced to Carnival and then brought it home to Belize. And get rid of the Battle of St. George's Key, get rid of the National Day, UDP, PUP, and make we just make we get naked and Brahman. And I got nothing against the costumes. I love the costumes.
I hear you. But the overall,
Square Peg
yeah.
was one of the first group
To
that
participate in the very first
participated in
carnival.
Carnival.
Very
Yes.
first
But
carnival.
is it vulgar, Deidre? She's saying it introduced half naked vulgar dancing, or is it creative? I mean,
Creative.
is there a line there?
All right.
Creative.
And yeah, as long as they don't cross that line.
All the way half neck, con naked.
Full
Half
naked,
naked.
if you look at it like that. Now,
Yes.
I saw a big lady at the Music and Food Festival in San Pedro. I'm sure you guys saw the video of that lady dancing and being really acrobatic. If you haven't, you really have to.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay.
But I'm saying, I mean, to me, it was entertainment. and some people have been condemning it as being vulgar. There's a line. I don't know who draws the line. If each person draws the individual line, we get back to that line, Dwight, that you're speaking of.
Yeah,
Well, and I don't mean to be mean or to be rude, but that's something you used to go to Cante and Raoul's, Continental and Raoul's for good look pan. Then thing what
Okay.
a lady me to do, you
Uh,
know.
yeah.
So I mean,
Well, I think the part of that was her size and her
and her flexibility.
agility or flexibility.
right.
Yeah, she assumed some positions, boy, that had me backed up. And the
Yeah,
whole
because Al Jazeera could do that with a creative presentation,
oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
you know.
but of course she doesn't have the
So,
kind of baggage.
so the question then becomes, when is it creativity and when is it
There it is.
vulgar?
Where do
Right.
we draw the line? Where
Uh,
do we draw the line?
And
um,
So
which is how you come
and
back to
who
the
has
higher profit.
the right to draw the line? Who really should, if there should be a
yeah,
line,
yeah.
who has the right? Who gets the right to draw that line?
Yeah, and of course that's a different line. That's a moral line as opposed to the one you were discussing earlier about the different ethnic groups drawing certain lines to separate themselves. How are we gonna do this, Dwight? What do you believe we can? How can we bring Belizeans together under one flag? As opposed to somebody was saying that the Hispanics suffered. Greg was saying that, I believe, as much under colonialism as the blacks. I don't think so. I would disagree because Hispanics now, if you're talking about real Hispanics from Spain, they were a part of the white breed. They weren't they when they came over and they mingled with the Indians
Maya.
and whatnot, and they became mestizos.
Hmm.
There's a difference there then, and they might have been subjected to some kind of racism, but the real Hispanics had their own slaves, and in fact, when they came, they were fighting for a part of the world, and their fight against England was that they were giving the world of England and to try take back some of it, So
Show me the clause in Adam's will that
but
gives the Pope the right to divide the world in two.
that is the good question there because he had absolutely no right. And even today, I have long said that what we should do is go to Francis, since he seems so liberal and willing to address issues, and say, look, I rescind that, you know. And we should also go to Spain and say, did you give Guatemala any land here, and what right did you have to do so? There's another issue that we have to look at some point, no? But
We to my mind, G Mike, we have to get away from this concept that if it comes out of Europe, it has to be good, and it's the only place where um, anything makes sense and anything of value can originate. Because if you look at what is happening, the European and European centric and European um, ancestry, people of European ancestry, tend to want to dominate in everything that they do in every place that they go. And we must start getting away from that. The people who are not necessarily Eurocentric in their views or have any European ancestry need to start to say, listen, we are as capable and we have a voice as well. Whether you're from Southeast Asia, whether you're from the South Pacific, whether you're from parts of Africa, whether you're indigenous, um, I don't like the term Americans, but whether you're from one of the indigenous groups throughout North and South America, there has to be some value that is placed on whatever you bring to the table. It's not only that the people who have who are of European extraction, are the only ones with sense and the only ones who can should be allowed to dominate. Nature abhors a vacuum, and unless and until um, the rest of us start seeing ourselves and seeing our own worth, they will continue to do what they do because that is what they're accustomed to. Along
Well,
with that has to be the the concept, if you want to call it that, that all of us are equal regardless of what you want to think. All right, and all of us bring some value to the table in whatever we do. So
Well, it has been
until
proven.
and unless you
All of
as
us,
a
all of us, Royal Cruffy is showing you that all of us are equal, that we do have our differences, which makes us unique.
right.
But once we recognize that, it makes us stronger Belizeans. I mean, a typical example is the lady who tell you that she and for she friends they Conda Belize, and then they're all over the place, and eventually they end up on top of the hilltop, they swing in a hammock and enjoy the breeze and the birds singing. And then the other lady to tell you that yes, look for me bottom. For me, bottom flat, 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 because I grew up the sleep in a hammock. So I grew up in a sleep in a hammock. Now somebody they lay down in it and they enjoy the birds to sing and enjoy the cool breeze. So it's a part of
Perspective,
us.
perspective.
It'd have to be that because I don't know. Is it true that if you sleep in a hammock that will happen? No, no, I'm messing with you. Yeah, yeah, yes.
I daily answer you.
We, Sam, we talk about that, and that's why Dwight was asking where in Adam's will did it give the Pope the right to do that. Sam was suggesting that
Right.
the Pope gave. Yeah,
That
we know it was interesting. Got the Pope split the world in two, half to Portugal, half to Spain, and then
that
Mhm.
I will.
later on, it was somebody from Spain or from Portugal became married to one from the other, and so then got the whole world. No, no.
I
Mm.
was quoting from Elizabeth I when she was giving out letters of marque to
Uh-huh.
people like Sir Walter Raleigh, right? Because that was when England and Holland started to challenge um, the the Spanish and
Yeah,
Portuguese
right. Yeah.
dominance in what
And,
we know what was called then called the New World.
uh,
And so Elizabeth said when someone of the monarchs, I think it was from Germany, somebody said, "But you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. The Pope has already decreed." And she said, "Show me the clause in Adam's will that gives the Pope the right to do that."
actually, that is how we came about when the original Baymen as such came in. From they used to attack the Spanish ships now because well you know the get all the gold from what they we and then use the Bay of Honduras as their place. Um, Getting back to Emancipation Day now, and the celebration has gone to Ibo Tongue,
Mhm.
on the history of
Mhm.
Ibo Tongue. I don't know you guys if you guys have followed up on that, but
Right.
Ibo Tongue, of course, in the Yabra area over
Hmm.
there where we were confined to.
Mhm.
There's a certain person who labels herself revolutionary who has decided that she's going to Golden Bay and do her own uh, uh, um, observing, if you will,
Mm.
of this
Mm.
celebration,
Mm.
throwing petals in the sea and whatnot. And I'm saying, to me, that's as ironic as going to the government house and having the opening ceremonies. Because again, I think the opening is as colonial as you get. We weren't allowed on the north side as such and up in those areas, really. Uh, Albeit that one reclaim land now, but at the end of the day, you remember that we were confined to south side. Um,
But G Mike, if you remember, um, there was a time when Cinderella Plaza, where Cinderella Plaza is, was the limit of Belize City. I could remember as Lee Boy when after you reach Cinderella Plaza, you pick house from through there. So Bayman Avenue, that me and Lee Mud Street
That's
yeah,
right.
and then
Yeah.
kind of thing. So the real affluent areas were basically Foreshore, Regent Street, Albert Street, Natron Street, going all the way up to up
BC.
up the foot, right?
Uh,
And that the area with the business area where that be where used to be Belize distributors, BH distributors, British Honduras distributors, and the areas there. So then that made a commercial hub because
but they're
when
still the prime properties,
right,
because
right,
nobody who going to
and,
live that Penn Road,
and remember that the customs house used to there which part?
right? Right
The
up
boat.
there, Fort, right
Right
up
up the
Fort.
fort, correct? Because that was where all the goods used to come in, and then from there then go along the river that the various warehouses. So that open lot where the front of Holy Redeemer School now used to be one warehouse for I think for BH distributors or for PC.
Distributors, yeah. In fact, I remember coming out of Holy Redeemer, we used to go over there and get the chicle,
Correct,
uh,
right?
which had no flavor, of course, because I'm just the gum.
That was
When
just the
we,
gum,
yeah, it's shipped to Wrigley when they put in the flavor.
right?
Right.
But
So,
yeah, there's a deep history there, strong,
but the
strong.
ironic part about it was that Government House was literally a stone's throw away from um from
Yeah, bro.
Ibo Town,
Yeah, that interesting.
Yeah.
right? It was
Interesting.
literally a stone's throw away. So the residence of the governor was right next door to this forced
Could that have
residential
been
area.
intentional and for some purpose? Maybe keep them in check or keep the slaves near enough that they could just come
Well,
over there and
well, it
perform.
well, I don't know if you could have kept them in check because the two garrison the soldiers were garrisoned. I think one was by the customs house and the other one made it all the way up on the barracks, right? So
Um,
I don't know, and maybe there was a detachment closer to government house. I don't know. I have to check history.
very interesting. But we'd have to get one of the real older citizens before they go along, because I've always felt that we have a history that's pertinent enough to focus on, as opposed to going into the Greek history. And listen, African history is okay, but really, Belize has its own unique history, and lots of it from way back. So if we're going to teach history in our schools, that certainly should be a part of it. No, some of the things that we're talking about.
Hmm.
I think Nigel Borland. I think that is correct, call the name correct.
Yes, yes, yeah, brother.
Um, he has done some good work. Um, I think Joseph Eo, although he's not Belizean by birth, he's done a lot of good work here in Belize as well in terms of documenting the history and some of it the history that's not mainstream, if you want to call it that. So I think we need to go back to these people and find out what they know or what they found out in the course of their research and their writings, because there's quite a bit. I never knew that you had one major settlement, and this is down south now when BEC may basically own the whole of the country, I believe. There was a huge, I cannot say huge, relatively large Creole community down in the area which is now Medina Bank um, on the Southern Highway. And that's because the logs used to come down Deep River and come out in a Port Honduras and then get towed all the way back to Belize City. Well, Belize Town as it was then, no? And how I learned about that through Joseph Eo.
Yeah.
So that we should tap into, like you rightly said, some of the some of
People
the
have done
science.
some digging. And Deidre Gillett, who has been throwing us some comments from time to time, has done some good work. She was suggesting or pointing out that Liberty Hall, for instance, is on the north side, and that Isaiah Morta owned quite a bit of property over there. But I always tell people that while we talk about the ghettos and the areas of the south side, that you got Majestic Alley, you got the Pickstock Street area that are
You got Kelly
areas,
Street. You got Kelly Street.
Kelly Street, where you find poverty and, in fact, problem areas, no? So I don't know what the dividing line between north and south also has been blurred, and what that what's the significance of it now, and how do we look at it? What do we? Um, I certainly think that maybe it's time we erase it and have one Belize City. Um, and it has,
But those divisions are our creation again, G
well,
Mike.
there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Those are things that we superimpose on
But
our
but there,
own selves.
but in all fairness, though, Dwight, there are some things that you mentioned earlier where some of these things were at in the old times, like the customs house and the uh, distributors and whatnot. That there's an area called Horn Park, which talk about Royal Crofty, that where they used to live up there, by past barracks going up into near SJC.
But Horn Park again now a relatively recent development, G Mike. And we talk after Hurricane Hattie, so we talk
Is
um,
that okay?
early '60s when you remember they may bring in one dredge near Jaguar when we sink right the barracks there, right front of what was then Crazy House, so it was called Crazy House.
Okay.
And that was the dredge that filled up most of the area we call Whole Park with the Caribbean shores now,
Past little Cinderella
right?
town going up. Yeah.
From about I think from about Sixth Street going out towards the sea in one direction and going back so which was BTL there, Lizaraga Avenue and all them places so was part of that development and that came after Hurricane Hattie as far as I could recall.
These are saying let's go to the
Mhm.
let's go to the videotape. Somebody just said that. June the 1st, 1997 needs to include all ethnic groups within the celebration of Belize's existence, as with the 10th of September. Carnival was just introduced. Yeah, well, she had put that up earlier. Um, Now, I think any celebration that Belize has should include now all ethnic groups. I, I,
Mandatory G Mike.
yeah. But what do you do about Garifuna Settlement Day, which is the 19th? And I find that ironic that recently I've heard some from the Garinaga community suggest that they are indigenous and should be considered given indigenous status. But how do you be indigenous and also observe a settlement day? There's somehow those two don't go together.
Uh,
So
I spoke to Dr. Joseph Palacio on this very um, subject, and his response to me was indigeneity, as he refers to it, has not necessarily only to do with a specific place, but a particular region. So if you look at the origins of the Garinago, while they are not in Belize, they are indigenous to the region. All right? And so,
mm,
how do we know that they did not, in fact, because they were very mobile, very migrant, how do we know that they didn't make their way to the, to the shores of what is
but that's spreading it kind of thin though. I
right?
don't know.
No, I am just saying, as an
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
anthropologist,
yeah.
that was the response that he gave. And
Yeah, I wouldn't have considered it a good response. I don't know. That right there because they're from Saint Vincent. We know that, and you know that sometimes when you raise these topics, you put yourself into the crosshairs,
uh,
and they start labeling you as being whatever, prejudiced, racist, or not.
but again, G Mike, if you look at our um, what's the word I want to use here? The thing that we have been told over and over in our history classes from primary school on is that Garinago came from St. Vincent. That's where they
Right,
were. The
right.
truth of the matter is that they weren't only in St. Vincent because there's a population of people who consider themselves to be related to the Garinago who are in Dominica. All right. what happened was that in the 1700s, the British rounded up everybody who was giving them trouble in St. Vincent and
Mhm.
brought them over to what was then, what to Rattan,
Right.
um, which was at that time under semi-British control because the Spanish, although they were in Honduras, never really ventured that far out. And so the British had control of Cayman Islands, part of Belize, the country of Belize, um, the Bay Islands, and the Mosquito Coast of Nicaragua, what is now Nicaragua. So we know the Garinago from what they've taught us as coming from Saint Vincent, but that's not necessarily the only place they were in the Eastern Caribbean.
Oh,
If you look,
here goes Rene giving a different perspective on this. Indigenous peoples are the holder of unique languages, knowledge systems, and beliefs, and possess invaluable knowledge of practices for the sustainable management of natural resources. They have a special relation to and use of their traditional land. Now, I don't know if that sheds any light on the matter as we were looking
well,
at it.
well,
Uh,
then it makes a very strong argument that the Creole are indigenous as well.
for to everywhere then. How about that? I don't know. I hear you. Uh, I so Garifuna, in my opinion, whose opinion has always been African, just like the Crofty. You know, at the end of the day, let's go back to a point we were trying to make, that all human beings have equal rights, regardless of ethnicity. We are all one species. We do all the same things. We eat, we drink, we people, we number two, to keep it real. We think, we can learn, we have habits. That everybody, black, white, and indifferent, and until we get to the point of understanding that, I think we'll always be dividing ourselves from one another, no? Uh,
Well,
judge a person by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin. Was that Martin Luther King that said that one? And
uh,
it makes a hell of a lot of sense. All that given, it's interesting getting off into that conversation. Let's go back to the
going into the
purpose.
weeds.
He's kind of rough. Ryla Cruffy. Ryla Cruffy now takes a look at all of these topics, and that's why it's so relevant that we can speak of them, because when you go to see this, it will pique your interest. You will look at more of these things. I want to recommend this play. I say, Ray, you strike one chord here that will ring in a lot of people's ears and will stir a whole lot of conversation as we move forward.
And
It will.
if anybody who's listening to this program, go and see Royal Cruffy. What I want to bring from this program just now is that we talk about how much we ourselves have divided ourselves from each other. And that's one of the things that Royal Cruffy is saying, that we blame people for the division when we ourselves are the one for blame.
Well, we are part of it. We either promote it, or we allow it.
Yeah.
We all grew up in Belizean households where we saw the prejudice at play.
Mhm.
We never easy, you know.
Not at all. Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. I tell you, but we were also very hypocritical.
Very
I,
much so.
I get a story. My grandmother was an old Maya woman, and she was married to my grandfather, who was a Jamaican police officer that was seconded to Belize.
And then be black or white.
Blacker than the ace of spade. My grandmother now, who was clear Spanish, I imagine I because my mother's father, this was from my father's side. My mother's side also had a lot of clearina then, so I imagine that's where I got that from. But she would not. She had a vat in at the yard and would sell water,
Mhm.
5 cents a bucket. I have heard on more than one occasion when a black person come buy water, I can't sell to a black person as the first person of the day got a bad luck. And
See?
I'm saying you got my grandpa right there where you sleep with all night. And that's not an unusual thing. You see, it happened a lot in Belize. It's sad.
Uh,
It's
And
sad.
he has spit on the ground too.
You
uh,
think that joke
Spit
though?
on the ground, yes.
Why it was
no,
and
go ahead, G-Mike.
yeah, no, but it was so prevalent, and I grew up looking at this. When I myself was subjected to racism, I mean, one cultural shock. But I went to the US and they put me out on a barber chair. They wouldn't trim me. And then, but a funny joke because then I came back to Belize. I'm going to play ball at SJC and he balihala at me say, pass the ball, white boy. And I'm like, I mean,
Yeah,
bitch, I said, well, enough to make up no mind. I went be one or the other. I can't be the two.
no, now
You
you
see?
have to make up your mind.
Well,
Right.
Now
that
you
good
have to
point.
make up your mind.
Good point.
But
But if, uh,
G-Mike, I have a similar situation like yours. You know, this case of my grandpa. The first time he heard me speaking Spanish, his response was, "What? You talk Panya?" He said, "You don't know you only need one language in this country, and that's English."
oh,
And that was for him. That I mean, like gospel.
that real.
Yeah,
That
like
was real.
you don't need to talk nothing else. He was he was amazed. I get the impression he was disappointed even that I bothered to learn to speak Spanish.
And which they should have encouraged. You know, when we grew up on a person who talks Spanish, it was labeled as black Spanish, right?
Oh
And,
boy.
and I
Oh
knew guys,
boy.
man, that was a serious thing. I knew guys that came, that was raised in Orange Walk, moved to Belize City, and never spoke Spanish because they were frowned upon. And the part of our history that we have, you put it right, Dwight. We whisper it. We don't talk about it loudly or
In
in
a polite
groups.
um society, we
But here's the thing: Royal Crawford takes a frank look at a lot of this. So
And
you
they don't whisper it.
don't whisper it. So they
They
better
don't.
come out of there ready, for deal with this and move on and discuss it with children, with everybody. I see Lisa is on. Hi, Lisa. If that's you, I know your mom was taking care of business for you. We hope you're feeling better. She must be listening to us in bed. Lisa, the one of our
Yes.
regulars on the show, and she has been under the weather. I don't know if you probably know her, don't you, Ray?
Yes, yes, I'm
know her
aware.
quite
So
well.
good to see that she's here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a
yeah.
part
Yeah.
of the program.
So thank you for tuning in, Lisa, and letting us know that you are right, guys. Tell me something. The question I have now is that
Mhm.
you said, Ray, you were challenging Zoom, and that much of the rehearsals have been done through Zoom. How do you manage that? Because I imagine there has to be a set, and you have to be familiar with the set. How did you work that out?
We draw the set, a floor plan,
Mhm.
and we present the set on Zoom, and we have it there while we're having rehearsals, just like we're talking here. We're rehearsing, and a floor plan is on the screen so that they can see it. Then we have one-on-one clinics. As a director, I would meet with Dwight, and we would go through the blocking. Hey, Dwight, when you say this, this is where I want you to move. And then I need for you to move, being motivated by what you're saying, to move from here to there and doing this action. So Dwight's clinic will be about him, where he's moving, and in relation to the three women. Then I have a clinic with one of the other women, and I go through the blocking with them, and so on and so forth. And Here on Zoom, we are there are times most of our rehearsals they are seated. Most of the rehearsals, especially when we come all come together. But other than that, I'll be telling them, listen, I need for you to get up, get away from the desk, get away from the script, and I want to see your full length because I want to see your hand movement. I want to see everything that you're going to be doing at this point in time. Maintain that character for me, please. For God's sake, don't forget it. And they would have to take a break with their pencil and paper and write down these things on their script.
Hmm. But no, you're gonna do some rehearsals on a real set before the show, correct? Is there are there?
Yes, we come to Belize 4 days before the production.
Okay.
And once we get to Belize, there's rehearsals at the Bliss or at any given space. We even looking at the stage at Memorial Park when nobody's there, and we'll be going there and working the blocking, just working the blocking of the play. Okay, when I say this, I move here, you move here. I do this, you do that. So yes,
It's
we have that physical contact 4 days
interaction. Yeah.
before in Belize before the show nights.
It sounds like a bit of work, though. I mean, it's
It
certainly
it
not
is. It
easy, is it?
is. It is.
It's
It
a
is.
lot of
Yeah,
sacrifice.
yeah. I tell you, yeah, yeah.
We rehearse since May. We've been meeting every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Miami and New York time, 4 a.m. Belize time, 3 a.m. California time.
Hmm.
Those are the hours we're meeting, and we're meeting for an hour, hour and a half, and on Saturdays, 2 hours.
I tell you, I have big respect for you guys and anybody that does that. You have to remember your lines. That would I don't know if I could do it because my memory as it is, So there are a lot of obvious and dedication, lot of effort that has to go into it. And kudos to you guys, man. That be really big up. Yeah. What's next, Ray?
I don't know yet. One of the challenges I'm facing right now, Mike, is that so many other people wants to get involved, and because of our distance and using Zoom, um, and the time.
Yeah.
Those are the challenges we're facing, to and allowing other people to come in.
I imagine not everybody's gonna make that commitment either. It's not that
Right.
in particular the getting up early. I did it one morning to join you guys and I tell you it's taxing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
big respect, man. Big
Oh
respect.
yes.
So
G
Yeah,
Mike people. G
imagine.
Mike was with us at 4 a.m. Belize time.
Yeah, it's so imagine I do that 3 days a week since.
yeah. Do I'm
Yes.
saying, Dwight? Dwight, what do you do? Are you you work
Yes,
also?
I
Because I don't
project.
imagine you're gonna
I'm a
get rich
project
doing
management.
this.
Yeah, no. Well,
Yeah,
we don't know yet. We might get
yeah. You
invited back
never
to
know. You
Hollywood.
might.
Yeah,
You
but
might. Yeah.
no, I'm a project management consultant with the government of Belize right now.
Okay.
One of the IDB projects that being implemented through the Ministry of Economic Development. So yes, I do have a full time job.
Are you a usual morning person, a get up early person, or is this just
Yeah,
a
yeah. Well, yes and no. Because as you get older, you tend to want to stay in your bed little longer. But traditionally and habitually, I've been an early riser. So
yeah?
getting up at 4 is not that difficult for me because in on most days I'd be up by 5. Uh,
What time do you go to bed?
Usually around 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's decent. Yeah.
So now and again around 11. but I try not to get into bed later than about 11:30 or midnight.
So the all night parties are no longer on the agenda.
They're spaced out. They're spaced out.
Far farther than it used to be. Ray,
Yeah.
how about you, Ray? Early riser?
Early riser, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
early riser.
I am too. Actually, I love getting up early. Though I'm in bed early myself. No, I got problem. They watch movies anymore unless they come on during the daytime. So as a time I could stay up late and watch a movie, I don't even think about it. I know I sit in for sure.
Well,
Right,
my
right.
my 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 big beef with the play right now is that I used to do 10 miles every morning on my, well, 6 mornings a week on my bike.
Mm.
I got my road bike where I used to do 10 miles. So now um, that 4 o'clock thing take away 3 of my days then right there. And
Unless you
then
do it from the bike, you could do it
uh,
on the bike, yeah, and you
yeah, then
stationary. Yeah,
I
you,
I know.
hang on,
I can't. No, I
yeah.
can't avoid
hang
that.
my tablet round my neck and
That's
can't
what I
do
say,
it.
and
So
then Ray tell you about stand up. I want to see a full length. I want to see.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, man. But I really admire you guys, and I'm hoping that we'll see more plays like these in the future.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
only from you, Ray, but I maybe it'll catch on, and because we have to develop our own arts, our own music. CY does some music, and he was asking earlier if you do intro. Like I think he was thinking maybe you put some banner or something before the show comes on. Would that distract from that, or would that be a possibility?
Well, I am not sure. The Optimist Club are the people to answer that.
Yeah.
The popularity of the evening itself is is becoming a challenge,
Mm.
for the want of a better word. Right now, we also have Blacka, the Caribbean comedian, as part of the evening.
Okay.
And then this year we have an added interest is Rudy Francisco, a poet out of San Diego, a Belizean poet, Belizean American poet.
Interesting.
Abilam.
Right,
Abilam.
right, right.
Are we okay with that word?
Oh yeah,
Diaspora.
oh,
Diaspora.
Diasporans.
Diasporan or whatever. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. Is there a musical score, guys? Is there music?
um,
in the play, no, there's no music in the play in this one, no.
Yeah. Because
But we
usually,
could use one. We could use one.
yeah.
So whoever it is that was making that recommendation, of course, we could use a
I
musical
think
score
that
in the beginning and the end.
Calvin Leong Jr. You said CY, right? G-Man?
No, yeah. CY is Clinton Young.
Oh,
Calvin Young
Clinton.
is the Governor General's son.
Son. I know he
He
into music and thing
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
he's into music. CY
Yeah.
does his own style of music.
All right. I was not aware.
Yeah, yeah. He I CY he'd have to tell us what under what category he groups it. No, whether that kind of like a mixture of rap and culture. That was CY. How would you describe your music?
Mostly,
Your mic down. Your mic
yeah,
down.
yeah. I do mostly fusion, but I do with Creole. I still Creole. I don't talk Jamaican, so all my
Mm,
I usually talk Creole or more proper English than Jamaican style. So I try to keep
Yeah,
that Creole thing in me, you know.
yeah,
good,
man. But
good.
you only need
I applaud you. I applaud you, my brother.
yeah,
you
because
only
it's a harder road, you know. And then I write everything. All my thing original too. That's why I got respect for you guys too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
man.
everything I touch, I
Wonderful,
write everything.
wonderful.
I scribe novels. I know. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And I ain't listen to nobody else because I don't want to get influenced by nobody else. So I hardly
right.
know any artists out there.
How do you feel about Vibes Cartel being released from prison?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's above my grade. I can't. I don't know any category if it really come in for that style and thing. You know what I mean?
You know the man now. You're
Yeah,
familiar with
vibes is
music.
cool. Vibes is cool. Vibes is cool.
All right.
I think my like I said, my whole point and objective is towards Belizean. So my that the shine more light on all Belizeans, because I think Belizeans is that, as what you guys were saying just now, I think Belizeans is as talented as anybody in the whole world. I think I
Right.
bias though. I think I bias. So I
But you
don't know.
ought to be. You ought to be. I'd be
Yeah, that's what
disappointed
I'm
if you
saying.
weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think we very talented. I think we need to be behind each other more. You know what I mean? And to big us up more. You can't not include outside artists like you say, because then there's a lot to learn from other cultures and stuff like that. But
Yeah, man.
I think we tight. I think we are some of the roughest. I think if we get but if people get the world get an opportunity for Yaros more often, we be all right.
Well,
But I was asking. Go ahead.
Good. No, you go ahead. You got the mic. Go ahead.
Okay, I was asking Ray if he's taking advantage of all avenues as far as promotion is concerned. Like, do you have a vocal commercial, like a musical commercial? You got snippets, you got like these snippets at the show, so you could join together and put it as a commercial. You use TikTok, you're using wherever else is out there. Is it X right now? It's not Twitter no more, it's X. But all these platforms that's available, are you utilizing all these platforms, sir?
We will.
You will?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, okay. And my question about the artist was like, when you visit states, right? Because you have probably, I don't know, you roll it with a certain, you don't want nothing to be taken away from anything. But I mean, giving shine and like to other Belizean artists would be kind of cool too. Because I figure if you come to New York, you would use them. And I think G Mike said this in another way. G Mike say if you want representative for certain aspect like the diaspora transition or whatever, you have to deal with diaspora people. So now if you come to New York, right? I'm pretty sure that there's artists in New York that we say give him 5 minutes front of the stage, and that person, what issue with G Mike had is because when he hire people, they don't bring nobody. So I could understand that if you get an artist, you have to be somebody that would probably add to the so you have to do a little background check and that make sure that person at least have some kind of relative
following.
connection, while you following or something. So is that a possibility?
You're in New York.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Okay.
But I'm not from New York.
Huh?
I'm not from New York.
I know you're not from Belize, but you're in
No,
New
I'm
York.
from everywhere. I'm from everywhere.
Okay.
All right.
Nah.
But you're born at Belize.
Yeah, I had a from everywhere though. And I don't believe that. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Listen,
Because
let's link up now.
I think stating you from Belize or you from New York or you from in New York, they say, oh, you from the Bronx or
All
you
right.
from here. And then you Belize.
See why? Listen to what Ray is suggesting, that you guys link up at some point. So,
yeah, man, link with him. You know that. You know that.
Wonderful.
It's automatic.
Definitely. Let's link up.
Automatic.
All right. Yeah, man. So,
Thanks.
Fusion.
All right, guys.
Respect, brother.
Definitely.
Thanks. Yeah, man. But anyway, the show now, they kind of hard to get snippets when you're not rehearsing together. If I rehearse from Zoom, you're hard for you to come up with I say, right? So I think that I would recommend to anybody out there that has any kind of interest in the arts, that like this kind of live performance, because I found it exhilarating. And I always find live entertainment different than, say, you're watching a movie. I've gone to a couple of Broadway plays, and there's an electricity, there's a interaction between you on the stage and the audience. And many times when you bring that certain vibe, there's just a difference than you, like I said, watching a screen. No? You deal with an actual individual up there performing.
Right.
So CY is in New York, and maybe a New York performance is not off of the calendar at all. We have a really big Belizean audience in New York also. I mean, a community where I would be surprised that anything Belizean does not go through New York also, no?
Right, right, right. Definitely,
Yeah, man.
definitely.
Uh,
Uh,
go ahead, Dwight.
well, no, I was about to say that if I can recall, I heard Ray say that we should be in New York later on this year, no?
Oh, you
Right.
you you go on, you got the
Yeah,
schedule for that, no, Ray? You got
Yes,
what?
yes.
November, yeah? Somewhere around there.
Late October, early November. They're trying
Uh,
to settle with a date.
all
yeah.
right. What you guys think of
Because
the Tony Award winner?
Wonderful, excellent.
Yes,
we
man.
We
we
were
saw her
perform.
last year when we were in New York.
Yes, we were
Yeah.
performing in New York at the same time the play was showing. So as a group, we went to see Cara
Correct.
Young
Correct.
Yeah.
perform.
Oh, you saw the play?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
did.
did. Yes, we did.
Spectacular,
As a
spectacular.
as a cast, we went to see.
How about the
Um,
other girl that also won?
Right, we
Moon,
didn't get to see her.
no.
Melia, I
That
believe.
yeah, that play wasn't showing yet.
Yeah, yeah. But that we can feel proud that we have, and I think this is what we need to do, fellas. Celebrate our heroes.
Definitely,
Let our
definitely.
children know that, and the point being made that we are as good as anybody out there. We
Yep,
put down our pants one leg at a time. Everything they do, we do, and the only thing what we lack is the confidence in ourselves to recognize the ability that we have. No,
I see a question there on the screen asking if we aspire to Broadway. I mean, at my age, I don't know. I aspire to get out of bed
hey,
in the morning.
put it
So,
this
oh,
way. Put it this way. Both
hey,
plays so far, both
but
plays so far were done off Broadway. So
correct.
we're 1 foot into Broadway.
yeah. So,
Okay? It
Yeah,
so
wasn't done, the plays weren't done at a high school auditorium or a community center. It was the what's the theater name? The
Spectrum,
Empire
Spectrum,
Theater? Huh?
Spectrum
Black Spectrum Theater
Theater
okay.
in Queens, New York.
in Queens, New York, and then we did the Santa Monica Playhouse in LA.
In LA. So
Um, and
Definitely.
I was told that quite a few of the stars in of screen and TV and the big screen got their start in the Santa Monica Playhouse. So
Went through that venue, no? Yeah.
yeah,
You'd be surprised. Where you the places that you go when you think, boy, I mean, the fact that we are here as Belizeans is impressive.
yes,
uh,
yes.
When we
Very
get to the
true.
point where it's no longer impressive, I think we'll know that we have reached there, where
Right,
we
right,
believe, we feel like we belong there. Yeah,
right.
tell us about the other members that they play, Ray. I see you have three ladies up there, and you
There's
say,
Althea Leslie from New York, Anna Pitts White from New York, and Gilda Courtney from New York. And they are playing prominent roles in the play. Althea Leslie being the eldest sister, Elvira Ewing, who's married to Papita Ewing, which is Dwight Neal, and Gilda Courtney, who is Vera Dale, and Anna Pitts White, who is
Catherine.
Catherine, and prefers to be called Catherine.
yeah,
You
not
know,
this our Belam vibe coming
exactly.
diaspora. Hey, and you know you got one lot of Belizeans go and change their name, not change the name, change it. I got a boy used to be Sanchez, now Sanchez.
Well,
Sanchez.
I was speaking to a girl the other day. She used to be Philippa. She's now Felipa. So
see,
but on that part,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we have Catherine.
Yes,
Catherine and Beryl Vasquez.
Yeah.
Vasquez
That-
también.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
Vasquez again.
Not a Vasquez
No
again, a
Vasquez.
Vasquez.
No.
A Vasquez.
They're not Ferguson. They're Ferguson.
Right.
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
You just have to be careful how you pronounce their name, ask them first of all, how am I to address you, please?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that
Exactly.
again, that you've interjected in there, an aspect of that people can relate to,
Yep.
because we see it happening every day. And again, while we don't shout it out, we certainly whisper it to ourselves. Like
Yep.
when it go, we talk about leave it. No, so but I applaud you guys for highlighting some of these aspects of our Belizean culture, and I really think people are gonna enjoy the show.
I'm
Uh,
sure. I'm
yeah,
sure. I'm
there's
sure.
some nostalgia in there. There's irony. There's humor. There's a little bit of everything for everybody here.
Gossip.
Gossip will not ask that, and that as Creole as you get. That and it's not gossip that you saw.
Yeah, yeah, more
No,
years.
And a real Yerisol. Real Yerisol.
yes,
From
sir.
the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
I think that people across the U.S., like in these cities where you're planning, should be looking forward to this also.
Hmm.
Marking these dates on your calendar. How are you going to manage the traveling part, Dwight? Where you apply for leave, you take.
Yeah, no, that's essentially what will happen. When I went to New York, I got vacation leave. So what I do, because that I know that was the possibility of travel. So I try to save as much of my vacation time as possible, so that I could use it in those situations. So when I went to New York in November last year, I used a few days there. When we went to LA, I used another few days there. So basically, it becomes managing my vacation um, my vacation time. No, so
If
once I
I
know that,
must,
yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
if I must add, G Mike, it's all a labor of love as well.
Obviously, it
Um,
has to be. Has to be.
we don't charge anything. We don't charge anything. We don't charge Belize. We don't charge New York. We don't charge California. Nowhere. All we ask, just pay the airfare.
PDF,
Pay the airfare. We are fine with own place for lay we head. We are got our own pocket money, and we use it as a little mini vacation. So labor of love from the rehearsal days, just labor
I
of love.
I hope I hope sometime that is going to change, and that you will realize some kind of profit from it, because the kind of labor that you guys put in had to be for a little more than love, but a little bit of
Leave it a
something.
small change, no?
There's at least small change, and it's something small. It don't have to be, yeah. But
Yes.
but yeah, I want to remind folks that tomorrow, before we fast running out of time, but tomorrow the Ibotong Festival
Right.
will be at the Yabra Green and at um, the monument, what is now called Isaiah Morta Square.
Right.
I would have preferred the whole ceremonies be from the St. John's Church, which itself has a whole lot of history to it.
Right.
Um, you know, but for now we're still with the government house, and it is what it is. So Emancipation Day again too. Um, we're gonna celebrate it. I believe that we and I don't think that we have too many holidays as some people suggest. We have to live life and have some fun in it. It can't be everything
Mhm.
just toil, and that's what emancipation is about. We're no longer slaves. We can spend some free time. We can spend some time going abroad like Dwight and doing a lead play on our vacation. No? So
Mhm.
well, I look forward to that. I certainly look forward to September 12th and 13th again, Ray,
Definitely.
in
At the
at the
Bliss.
Bliss Institute. I might there is gonna be a charge for that though. You don't know nothing about that. Is that being handled by the Optimist Club?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much do you know about the Optimist Club? Because we hear about it a lot. Obviously, they're involved in a lot of things. What is your connection with them, and how did you get to enlist their aid in the production?
I am a member. I am the vice president with the
Oh,
Optimist Club.
okay.
We do a lot of work with young people. Um, popularly right now is our sewing classes throughout the entire country, every district. We especially the members here in the diaspora, we have been able to garner support in purchasing sewing machines. We probably own maybe like 75 sewing machines throughout the entire country of Belize, and have sewing classes going on down south, Dangriga, PG,
What
Central.
has been the interest in that?
Oh man, we don't have enough machines. We
Oh.
don't have enough tutors. All labor of love again, G Mike.
But you mean
Uh,
people still want to learn how to sew? That's what you're saying.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
And we have uh, boys and girls coming forward to learn to sew. We have this one lady, Rita Constance Waite, who has collaborated with the Optimist Club to have the Rita Constant Lopez Sewing Academy going on at Wesley College. They purchased and some 11 sewing machines. Wesley College has been kind enough to house the machines and to provide the students to learn to sew. So we have that program going on at Wesley College as well in Belize City, and it's going on throughout the country of Belize. In San Ignacio, we don't have enough machines, especially in San Ignacio. We need some more sewing machines. In the north, we need sewing machines. So anyone who can donate a sewing machine, listen, we even find the money to ship it to Belize. So if you have one that you could order on Amazon from Walmart and you ship it to me in Miami, I will get it to Belize. Believe me, I will get it to Belize. So
Why?
yes,
Go ahead. Now, why sewing, Ray? Because I mean, many people say, "Well, you go buy your clothes ready made now." What's the interest in sewing, and why did you go that direction?
it just happened, to be honest. It just happened. Members in the group were skilled in sewing and teaching sewing, and it just happened.
Okay.
And the popularity took on. Well, other than that, we have in Dangriga especially the flute and the harmonica.
Okay.
We have classes in those, the flute and the harmonica. In in the north, there is a strong interest in beautification.
Hmm.
Strong interest in beautification.
Cosmetics and yeah.
No. Natural
Landscaping, you mean?
beautification.
Oh.
Going out and helping to clean yards and
Okay.
planting trees.
I see.
A
Yeah.
very strong interest in that. The leaders in the north, Orange Walk and Corozal, are getting free trees and going out and planting it. So there's strong interest there.
How about the accordion? Because we've seen that wane in years. Lessons on that would not be a bad.
No more mahogany camp, so nobody
But-
need a carrion.
Well, honestly, if somebody donate one, we'll
But
find
there's a sweet
teacher.
music, man. There's a
We'll
sweet.
find a teacher.
Yeah.
Donate one and we'll find a teacher. Maybe we go to G Mike.
Huh.
The Charlie Burton Foundation.
Oh boy,
Yes.
yeah. Get new accordion players coming out of there. That would be wonderful, guys.
Yes.
And we're running out of time. One more thing before we go. Kamala Harris, is she gonna win?
Um,
You said Kamala is sitting there. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Kamala
yeah.
Harris,
Uh huh. Where is
it,
she sitting?
no, if she's gonna win,
Oh,
Is
oh.
she gonna win? She's the vice president, taking over from Joe
right?
Biden, running
Mm-hmm.
for president of the United States. Is
Mm-hmm.
she gonna win, or is Donald Trump gonna win?
For me, Mike,
Uh,
I hate to think that this is um, the direction that the U.S. is going, but given the biases I've seen and the discrimination and things like that, that's so prevalent in the U.S. and the fact that you still have a majority white population, white voting population, and in a lot of the um, a lot of the Republican-controlled states, they are actively using voter suppression. Um,
well, the male female thing too.
well, no, hold on. I mean, I get to that. That
No.
you're looking at not only a black person, but a black female,
Yeah.
which usually very low down on the totem pole, the social totem pole in the United States.
But
And
very popular. Very
she's
popular.
very popular, but with whom?
But
And
has she been popular though, Rhea? Did she just become popular as an option to Joe
to Joe
Biden? I
Biden,
don't know that
precisely.
she was popular all along. She, in fact, many people did not really. She was not seen.
Yeah.
She was very quiet. What has she done over the past 4 years? Because vice presidents sometimes do have an impact. My concern is that she's just carry on. She's carry on the policies of Joe Biden. I don't see anything different with that. Given that the option of Trump is not a good one,
Precisely.
but as many people hate Trump, love Trump, and when they love him as passionately as they hate him. Now, my problem is that it's that, and we're talking about getting to this point where the choices between the two parties that hold similar views as far as war and as far as oppression of people around the world. I have not seen anything different at all from this lady that suggests that she will veer away from Biden's policies, which is a pro-war. He has the war, and we need to not forget that one of the reasons he fell out of popularity was more so his age than the fact that he was involved in these wars. Hence the nickname Jenna Joe, um, promoting the genocide, financing the genocide. I believe they're on the wrong side of both those wars. But that is a opinion, no?
Yeah,
Personal.
I think the independents will swing towards Joe Biden just because we have a black female candidate. In the case of
Well,
Obama,
you mean towards Biden or towards Trump?
I mean, they'll swing towards Trump. Sorry.
Yeah,
In the case of Obama, remember his mother was white, his father
right,
was black,
correct.
so he had a portion of the white population behind him because of his maternal side of things.
Well,
Kamala Harris no got none.
Kamala,
One
she,
black Jamaican,
uh,
pa, and one
oh,
black
oh, oh,
or one dark Indian ma.
she's married to a white man now,
Yeah, but
and a Jew at that. That is what concerns me.
let's see how far that will take her down the road. But
I,
while I have the mic,
yes, man.
no pun intended. I just wanted to put in a plug for the work that my wife and her team is doing in New York right now with the immigration hub. Just wanted to encourage our viewers and listeners who are in the New York area, if they need immigration services, they still have 3 days. They'll be working tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, just to make sure that the people who have worked during the week would be able to at least get a chance on Saturday, no? And it's heartening to see the number of um, people of Belizean origin who um, who are trying to either renew their passports or the descendants of people, the children and grandchildren of people who are originally from Belize, who are trying to get Belizean nationality. It's really heartening. So I just wanted to put in a plug there.
This is the same program that they had in LA a while ago.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Exact same thing.
Yeah,
Except that this time there's no land associated with it. It's just
Right.
the immigration part of it now.
Now, I understand there will be an additional day on Sunday.
That's only if they can fit it in.
No, they will fit it in.
They
I
will
was
fit it
told
in.
that
All right. The last
today that
discussion I
there
had.
will be an additional day on Sunday, and it's going to be at a church in Brooklyn. I can't remember the name of the church, but the contact person is Altia Leslie, and you can reach her at 516-595-6851. Anybody interested in coming out on Sunday to the church in Brooklyn, contact Altia Leslie.
Is that your Altia Leslie, a member of your
That is
cast?
correct.
You guys are hard at work, man. You guys
Yes.
are
We're all over, G Mike. We're
obviously,
dedicated.
obviously.
We're
Yes.
dedicated to the jewel.
Oh,
We're
Altia
committed.
Leslie,
Big
definitely.
Big respect. Guys, that's it. We've come to the end of the show. I want to say thank you very much for what you do. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for the conversation and allowing us to go all over the place. But at the end of the day, we want to promote Royal Coffee. Make sure you
Definitely.
see it on 12th and
Definitely.
13th of September at the Bliss Institute, and wait for the date when it comes to your town at a theater near you off Broadway. Respect every time, guys. God bless. CY, take it away.
Thank you.
Thanks, G Mike, and thanks to our listeners and viewers.
This is CY original, by the way, guys.
Original, don't know. Yeah. Live. Don't know. Right? Watch it. Greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the rose. Greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose. Aye, me hear the man fall when him catch a rose. Aye, me hear the man scream, tongue in a sorrow. Never want to take one in bout the road from Miss Larrow. The way the boy fall, could have back up thing a fist sparrow. The road got the contivo, que yo, Talawala, Bala de Hombre, Sassy Prilla, so Sumba, Pizza, Bed and Ginger, a lot scrabble, fight back and bitter wood, Serasi, and just a touch of sea, main ingredient, and the one Miss Larrow invent. See a man back bench, he just left Miss Larrow tent. Greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the rose, greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the rose, greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the rose, greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose. He catch a boy to play with himself back up a tail. He said he could hear voices coming from hell. One of his stellar, he touched up the girl named Gretel. So he end up that jail cell with the big boy nine in the bell. The rooster he contivo, que yo, Talawala, Bala de Hombre, Sassy Prilla, so Sumba, Pizza, Bed and Ginger, a low scrabble, fight back a bit of wood, Serosy, and a little bit of Cena, with the main ingredient, and the one Miss Larrow invent. See a man back bench, he just left Miss Larrow tent. Greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the rose, greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the man got greedy the rose, did the rose, did the rose, did the greedy the rose, did the rose. Go there hard, kid, go there hard. Easy. Bring it down. Could I tell you from my own experience?
Me touch it the first, getting ready for the tent. Me foot get heavy, like me the walking on cement. And then for no reason, me jump a rap back fence. The rules got in contigo, take me yo. Sala wala pala de hombre. Sati pilla so sumba pisa and ginger. A los cabo, find back and bit of wood. Seraphi, and a little bit of sinner. But the main ingredient, I the one Miss Lara invent. See a man back then, he just left Miss Lara then. Greedy the rules, did the rules, did the rules, did the rules. Greedy the rules, did the rules, did the rules. The man gone greedy the rules, did the rules, did the rules, did it. Greedy the rules, did the rules, did the rules. Yeah. Ripper, monster. Yeah. Will you feel it now? Will you feel it now? Secondly, Valley, watch it again. Yeah. You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rock to mind the cheese, when you come back, you know that gone, me friend. You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rock to mind the cheese, when you come back, you know that gone, me friend. Country girl say, well, they can't eat they spoil. Come in like blue, come cut, wicked and wild. See why they are so hungry, well versatile. Watch it, but they can't come my style. Someone gonna dance up his stare. The color dress, I want to the wear. Look on the color, yeah. Papa John say, yeah. Mosquito in a me, yeah. We don't need them fooling here. Get one thing clear. Make up my own cross, yeah. You go take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rat to mind the cheese, when you come back, you know that gone, me friend. You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rat to mind the cheese, when you come back, you know that gone, me friend. Dog with big bone, hair bone, back. Dirty spoon, they stir they pot. Who do watch you when you do watch me? Coming in like busy bee. Every day get up and quarrel like crab in a barrel. Mistake the Bronx, Fayetteville. Think rough but still. All the beans they don't spill. Should I work at the room and mill? Slip through it, they nail. You say one can pay your bill, you go take them from out of Belize. But then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rat to say mind the cheese, when you come back, you know that gone, me friend. You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rat to say mind the cheese, when you come back, I find the zone, I find the zone. Greedy the rules, did the rules, did the rules, did the rules, greedy the rules, did the rules.